Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
We're following a developing story tonight as rescuers comb a stretch of the Red River all afternoon after reports a man may have gone in. But there are also reports that nobody was actually in the water, and alcohol is believed to be a factor here too. Valley News Team's Bradford Eric has been on the scene all afternoon and has the latest details for us. Bradford.
Andrea, I'm just behind the Moorhead High Rise here along the Red River. Crews winding down their search for a man who may or may not have actually gone into the water. It was just about 1:30 today when the call came in and rescuers flooded this area looking for a young Native American male. But authorities also say there are reports that nobody actually went in. Then one of the people who supposedly jumped in to try to rescue the man was so drunk they couldn't give him more detailed description, and they were taken to detox for the rest of the afternoon. Rescues say there's no definitive proof anyone went in or even out of the water, but the current is strong here and it could take as many as 6 to 10 days for any body to surface, if at all. Excuse me. Now, as I said, Valley Water Rescue is still on scene here, and they are using sonar equipment to search this specific stretch of the river, hoping for any sign of a body to show up on their sonar signature. If they don't find one, they'll call it off for tonight and then resume their search tomorrow morning. Live in Moorhead, Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, Bradford, for that live report. And remember to stick with Valley News Live and check online at valleynewslive.com for updates on this developing story. There was quite a police presence this afternoon near 35th Street South in Fargo. Officers put a loose perimeter in place on that area while they searched for a man who possibly violated a protection order. We reached out to the Fargo Police Department, and they say they still have not found the man, but they don't believe there's a threat to the public. Another day of heat and sunshine, an all-around great day to get outside. And there's nothing stopping us tonight, right, Robert?
No, it looks like a very nice night out there. Temperature-wise, temperatures will slowly cool off as we head through this evening, but still on the warm side right now. That mix of 70s and 80s out there, including 85 here in Fargo and Grand Forks, 86 in Gwinner and Sisseton, some upper 70s for Detroit Lakes, Bemidji, and in Wadena. Winds on the breezy side, and they'll stay kind of breezy as we head through this evening, and they'll subside overnight tonight, pick up again as we head through your Tuesday. Cloud cover. Hardly a cloud in the sky until you get way out in the western North Dakota. And with hardly a cloud out there, no precipitation to worry about. A dry evening across the entire region. Get out there and enjoy it. Temperatures slowly cooling off here in the Fargo-Moorhead area as we head through the 7, 8, and 9 o'clock hours into the upper 70s by 9 o'clock. Those storms way out west fall apart overnight tonight, but then redevelop in our area tomorrow. Your forecast details on that, as well as a look at the rest of the next 7 days coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Robert.
You got it.
And if you want to keep up with the latest weather conditions where you live, download the Valley News Live Storm Team Weather app. You'll get the latest forecasts, conditions. You can even follow the radar live. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store and download it for free. A West Fargo woman is reuniting with her biological father after 28 years. Leah Dalton was born in South Korea and adopted by a family in Breckenridge, Minnesota. Dalton says this reconnection would not have been possible without technology and hope. She shares her story with Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop in an interview that you'll only see here.
When we hugged, I definitely didn't want to let go. It was just felt like a long time.
It's been a long road for Leah Dalton to hug her biological father, stepmother, and half-brother. They're from Incheon, South Korea. She was adopted at 18 months and grew up in America after her father gave her up so she could have a better life.
I mean, I think I've always had a little bit of a desire to connect, but I never really did anything about it.
She learned months ago that her biological father, Jung Sung Kwon, has been looking to reconnect with her and wrote a letter to the adoption group in Minnesota 2 years ago.
I felt very emotional because I thought, this poor man has been waiting for 2 years to hear from me, and I felt like, maybe he doesn't think that I care or wanted to get in contact.
Leah reached out to her father, but it wasn't that simple. The South Korea adoption agency would not give her father's contact information. She eventually used Facebook to track him down.
He had added me as a friend, and then they have a 10 key. We also have a 10 key.
The next challenge was the language barrier.
Said it's a little bit of charades, but most of the time it's using our our applications on our phone. Do you drive?
She speaks no Korean and he speaks no English.
Is driving the same?
They use translation apps on their cell phones to speak to one another. We asked Leah's father why he decided to reach out.
I was
Curious.
I always want to live healthy and happy. So I look up.
Yes.
So curious on
Yes.
how you were doing.
Yes, wanting to make sure that I was happy and healthy, and so he reached out.
Leah's father met her adoptive parents at the airport with an exchange of gratefulness.
This gives her a piece of her puzzle.
Leah says adopted children should not give up hope if they're on a similar journey.
Her and I find a new family.
And use the tools in front of you.
I think the power of the internet is amazing because I feel like for me that was a huge part of it.
Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
Leah plans to show her family where she grew up, her current job, and Lakes Country this week. And eventually, she plans to visit South Korea one day in the future. Bail is set at $5,000 for an Ogama, Minnesota man accused of mistreating animals. Michael Dahl is facing 3 felony charges. You may remember these gruesome pictures from a story we first reported to you back in March. 3 dead horses were found in Becker County on land that Dahl was renting in late January. Court documents say 2 of the horses belonged to Dahl, the 3rd to a woman who hired him to care for her animal while she was out of the country. Those documents were also state the horses likely died of starvation and exposure to extremely cold weather. Dahl's next court appearance is set for later this month. Moorhead K-9 officer Argo helped to get a load of illegal drugs off the streets. He was able to sniff out some marijuana, crack, cocaine, meth, and almost $7,000 in cash during a traffic stop this past weekend. Officers say numerous charges are expected against a Davenport man accused of driving drunk, crashing an SUV, and fleeing the scene and leaving an injured passenger behind. The North Dakota Highway Patrol says the 24-year-old driver turned off Highway 46 near Kindred over the weekend onto a gravel road when he lost control and the SUV flipped into a ditch. The driver fled on foot, but troopers found him a mile away in a wooded area without shoes. The 26-year-old female passenger was taken to a central hospital in Fargo. The extent of her injuries are not known yet. 2 people are dead after their ATV hit an approach and they were thrown from the vehicle. Noel Schmig and Crystal Scott were pronounced dead shortly after they were discovered unconscious Saturday night south of Mentor, Minnesota. Officials say the riders were not wearing helmets, but the cause of the crash is still being investigated. Neighbors are in disbelief and say the 2 were very helpful people in their communities.
It snowed, he'd be out there cleaning the seals in my car off. He shoveled sidewalks and constantly helping with anybody that needed help.
Funeral arrangements are currently being made. Neighbors say Crystal leaves behind 3 children. When attacks happen, like the shooting at an Orlando workplace this morning, authorities say it's not enough to just react. They say people need to have a plan just in case they're faced with a life-threatening incident. Run, hide, fight is the motto that the Department of Homeland Security has been using for years. But having a plan in place to follow those steps is necessary for a better chance of survival. Authorities say running away from a shooter or offender is the first and best option if possible. Have an escape route in mind. Hiding is the next option, finding a room with a lock and silence your phone. As a last resort, fight if your life is in danger. Try to incapacitate the shooter. The North Dakota Safety Council says individuals should have a plan as well if they're in a public space.
Part of your ability to get away is going to be directly linked to your situational awareness. In other words, when you're walking down a street where you're in a movie theater, you're in a concert, have you paid attention to where the exits are?
More information on run, hide, fight strategies can be found at the Department of Homeland Security website. That's listed right there at the bottom of your screen. Today and tomorrow, crews involved in the all-in-one recycling project in the FM area will be out in the neighborhoods delivering their new recycling carts. However, you won't start using them until July 3rd. So for now, you should still continue with a separated system until then. Later on Valley News Live at 6, there's a lot of splishing and splashing going on at local pools. Find out which ones are open and the others that are opening soon.
We've got lots of sunshine in our area through the evening hours. Off towards the west, lots of storms. Those storms fall apart tonight, but redevelop in our area later on tomorrow. Your forecast details on the storm chances coming up right after this.